My name is Ronnie Cruz, and this is Path of the Network Marketer. All right, welcome back to the show. It is day 66, episode 66. That's right, 66. Let's just dive right into it. I got a lot of information I want to share with you guys. Today's episode is about content. Surprise, surprise. I know I talk about content a lot on this show, but I wanted to talk about content in the context of where to get ideas from, right? Like sources that you could turn to for more ideas. I know for me, so I'm sure for a lot of other people, when I first jumped into online marketing and social media marketing, one of the biggest mental roadblocks that I was coming up against was how am I going to continue to come up with fresh new ideas, whether it's short form content or long form content like this podcast or with YouTube. How am I going to continue to churn out new, fresh, relevant content that people want to consume, especially if you're publishing content every day? Remember, before we start using or even thought about using online marketing and social media marketing as a tool for our businesses, we generally have the mindset of being content consumers, right? People that are just consuming content. And most of the stuff that we post is like, okay, here's what I'm doing right now. I'm watching this movie, I'm eating this meal, et cetera, et cetera. So, making that mental shift and becoming more intentional and purposeful about content creation and publishing, it gets a little scary because you're like, how am I going to continue to come up with ideas? And so I want to share with you guys just a list of 5 sources and resources that I use personally to continue to just like inspire me and spark new ideas. Spark new ideas so that I can keep churning out content for you guys here on the show. So number 1, easy. Newsletters, right? If you're a network marketer, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an online marketer, whatever it happens to be, like if you're a self-driven entrepreneur in any industry, whatever that industry has to be, you should be subscribed to a newsletter. It's free education. Also, it keeps you updated and informed on what's going on in the marketplace, right? So you stay up to date and you stay relevant. There's no reason for you not to read and be subscribed to a newsletter. So for network marketing, I'm subscribed to network marketing newsletters. I'm subscribed to personal development newsletters. I'm subscribed to podcasting newsletters, especially if there's a particular individual that you've bought a course from or that you follow online. Subscribe to their newsletter. There's no reason for you not to, right? Don't think about it as, I just want to keep my inbox empty. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous mindset. Again, it's a free source of great information, updated information, relevant information to you that keeps you educated and informed. So newsletters is a great one. The second one is other podcasts, like at least for me, all right? I'm a podcaster, so I'm going to listen to other podcasters and I want to hear what's going on in the marketplace, right? In fact, the idea for this particular episode I got from another podcast. I got it from Content is Profit with Luis and Luis, right? I've mentioned them before in the past. I forgot to write down what episode it was, but they had an episode where they did exactly the same thing. They listed where they got their ideas for content. And so I wanted to do, tongue twister. I wanted to do the same. So outside of podcast, you can use books, audio books and other audios, right? Like it's all about self-education for me. No matter where you are in business, no matter how successful, or whatever milestones that you've reached, whatever level of success you've reached in your business, you should always be self-educating. Podcast for me is a big one with that. Books, obviously, I'm an avid reader. Audiobooks, things like that. Like I'm always consuming information, and so because of that, I can regurgitate and come up with new ideas. Number 3 is groups, courses, and communities. So like Facebook groups that are relevant to whatever profession or industry you happen to be in. Lots of great network marketing groups out there, on Facebook. So just tap in, right? Tap into these groups, engage in the communities, connect with other people. You're gonna come up with great ideas, and you're gonna find great ideas because, like a lot of the times, hopefully, if it's a good and healthy community, people will share their questions or people will share their ideas to kind of support each other, right? And so groups and communities are a great source of that, and of course, courses and and educational tools that you might have bought or taken is another great source as well as an extension. Now, I want to give a caveat. Please don't just plagiarize information. Always, if you're sharing information on your in your content, that you credit who you got that information from. I know they say copying is the ultimate flattery, but if people don't know you're copying, then it's no flattery at all. So make sure you're referencing where you got that information from that you're sharing, and then everything is all well and good. So groups, courses, and communities. Another one is events. Live events is a great one. I know where events are starting to happen again more regularly now that we're mostly. I mean, it's still pandemic. COVID's still out there. However, the world has kind of adjusted and adapted. So people are getting back to events, right? And so, and network marketing, if you're not attending your company's events, there's something wrong. Like, that is a non-negotiable. You should always, as much as possible, attend every event that you can get to for your company, right? So that's a no-brainer. I mean, of course, other events as well that are just kind of industry events. There's obviously, as I mentioned, the Mastermind event that's hosted and run by Art Jonak. There's the Association of Network Marketing Professionals that do events, and actually they have a great newsletter too. So live events outside of network marketing, I think next year I'm going to start attending and participating in to broaden my horizons. Podcasting events, online marketing events. I know Funnel Hacking Live just happened, I think, a month or two ago, and I know that was a huge event that I want to go to. Personal development events and personal growth. I've never been to a Tony Robbins event. I know that's surprising. After all these years, I still have never been to a Tony Robbins event. I hear they're great. So events are a great source. I'm going to start getting out to more events next year. But it's a great source. Not only is it great education that you can share with your audience, but also it's a great place to network with other people. And once you get to know and connect with other people, that gives you access to their ideas and their resources and things like that, their network. And so it's almost an endless source of potential ideas that you can tap into going to live events. The last one, your own experience. It's simple as that. If you have a growing business, you know what you're going through, and that's something that you can share with your audiences. And like for me, as a network marketer, one of my biggest goals, especially taking my business online and creating content, is sharing my perspective and my experience with you in hopes that it can shave time off your growth curve, right? Cutting 10 years into a couple of years. I think that's always been one of my primary goals. Even before creating content and going online, like when I would do speaking engagements, when I would do trainings, it was always with the intention of, how can I shorten your time as a network marketer? So, as you start creating content, just share your experience with people, because I know if whatever you're happen to be going through, somebody else is going through as well, or will go through in their network marketing business. So sharing that allows them to potentially, again, cut their learning curve, cut their build time by however many fraction, right? And that's helpful. That's always helpful. Again, for me, early in my career, the internet wasn't as prevalent. Social media wasn't as prevalent as it is today. I believe had we had the resources that we have today with the internet, that I think my growth curve and the time it took me to start creating getting momentum in my organization and in my network marketing business would have been cut at least in half. I mean, gone from almost 7 years to maybe 3.5 years, right? So share your own experience. I mean, that's the thing, and that goes back to just one of the primary ideas, or primary principles that I really grasped onto when I first started doing online stuff was document, don't create. Right. And I guess, it was Gary Vee that first said it. I heard it from Russell Brunson, but I think it's still really, really relevant. It takes the pressure off you having to kind of come up and create ideas out of thin air. Document your experience, share your experience. And also too, that gives you the added advantage of letting the audience get to know who you are and what you're going through. Right. And so that deepens the connection with your audience. So that's the list. Again, Number one, newsletters. Number two, podcasts, books, and audios. Number three, groups, courses, and communities. Number four, live events. Number five, your own experience. Document, don't create. So that's the show for today. Thanks for tuning in. More coming tomorrow. Until then, be well, be safe. I'll see you in the next episode.